Hey, all, J-Man here for another Spawn review. I'm late to this one. I got it. I actually got it yesterday, and then I just it was super busy. We had a lot of streaming to do, so yeah, it's a day late. You're a day late and a dollar short. King Spawn number 19. The way I review comic books is using my space method. Story, pacing, artistry, characters, enjoyment. Each category gets a score between 0 for bad, 2 for amazing, 1 is good. If a comic book gets a 5 out of 10, a 1 in every category, let's say, 5 out of 10 means the comic is good. 5 or 6 is that was a good comic. 7 or 8, that was a great comic. 9 or 10, wow, this is an amazing comic. I want to buy this comic and I want to collect it. So that's how the scale works. I know people think 5 out of 10 means bad, but it doesn't mean bad. It means it's okay, right? Most comics should get 5 or 6 because, like, if I'm interested in buying a comic, it should deliver on what it promises, right? At least to a 5 or 6 degree. And that's sort of how I use space. I'm not ranking King Spawn versus Giant Size X-Men #1. I'm not ranking King Spawn versus Frank Miller's Daredevil, right? I'm ranking it against the other Spawn comics and itself, right? So how about, this is $2.99 USD. Are you getting your money's worth for this comic? And yeah, you are, obviously, because I love Spawn and I keep reviewing these. But I like this cover a lot, actually. It's really nice. Plus, the covers here, they've got that cardstock. I don't know what the grade of the paper is, but it's much better. And I find that I can read it easier. And it just feels like it's just a better constructed comic. I don't really talk about that enough. Maybe I really should. When I was at my shop the other day, we had a guy there, one of the patrons, and he's just like, you know, a lot of these other books, Marvel, DC, it's like it's shoddy, right? And I'm not a condition person. Like, look, I'm handling this all kind of wonky. I don't really care. I'm from the spinner rack day where it's like, yeah, right. If you got one that was in perfect condition, you're like, yeah. I didn't even think that there was such a thing as good condition. Like this 9.8 stuff is like, well, 9.8. Where'd you find that issue? But anyway, King Spawn. So storyline. I'm actually gonna give the storyline of this. Damn, I might give this a 2 out of 2 story. Now, I'm not saying that the storyline here is better than like Dark Knight Returns or something. I'm giving it a 2 because in this comic, how interesting was the story that I was reading and would I want to continue it? And yeah, I do. This one is really mostly focusing on Sam and Twitch. There's this punk guy here, blue hair and all that. He's carrying something, and a little girl wanting to see Santa on the street corner here. She bumps into him, and then boom, here's what falls out, a brain. You're like, what? So it's like some sort of black market organ donor thing. And I'm like, okay. And then Sam and Twitch came in, and I will say this, that I was slightly disappointed when I saw that this was going to be a Sam and Twitch investigation, because I thought, well, you know, I want to read Spawn, right? Like, I want Spawn and monsters. But you got sort of a human monster, which is, I guess, kind of interesting. And Spawn has done this from time to time, and Sam and Twitch are classic characters. So I was like, let's go with it, see where it goes. Ends up that I really like the storyline a lot. So they're investigating this. They find a card for this pharmaceutical pharmaceutical company, I suppose. And they go to investigate there and continuing. So I'm not going to really talk too much about more of the story because I want you guys to get into it. But I really like the story. I thought it was really good. Again, you might think, well, this is an average story. It's not anything to die over, but I wasn't expecting it. So I'm giving it a 2 out of 2 because I really got into it. And I definitely want to see what happens in the next issue. Okay. For the pacing, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 2 because it is a bit of a mystery. Pacing doesn't mean it has to be fast paced. It just means that it needs to have the pacing that suits the story that they're telling. And this one does, because it does flashback a couple of times to kind of see where you're at, where was the blue-haired guy at and what happened and that. So it goes back, but it doesn't just linger on, it does move forward. So when they do these kinds of stories in other modern comics, like let's say a Marvel book or something, they probably just dragging the crap out of it. A lot of talking heads, constipated comics is what I call it. So even when a Spawn title does a more mystery-focused story, it's still faster paced anyways. So I appreciate that. Artistry, I'm gonna give the artistry, I'm gonna give it a 1.5, I think. I'm really close to giving it a 2, which is kind of crazy. But I think 1.5. I think 1.5. Like, I like this. That's really cool. It is a bit panely, but actually, like, you know, I like the brightness here where it's like, okay, this is the daytime. It's, you know, it's stuff's going on. I love their office here. Good details in the office. So yeah, let's see what else is a good. These are not bad. I'll show you a good page here coming up. There's some brutal. There's absolutely some like crazy blood gore in this comic, which I appreciate. This is awesome. Right, that's cool. I just that there because of the way that the story was, there is still a lot of just like talking. And look, what are you gonna do? I'm giving it a 1.5. I still really like the art. Okay, characters. I'm gonna give the characters. I'll give it a 1. The reason I'm giving it a 1 is that I like Sam and Twitch, but like that's it. Now this is sort of like a new storyline started in here, so it's hard to come up with really good villains. Like the villains, like these people at the company they're dicks, but you didn't get enough of them to understand how, you know, evil they are. So it didn't really, you know, Spawn's only in this very a small couple pages. So you're stuck with Sam and Twitch, who I really like. So I'm going to give it a 1. 1 still means it's good. I like the characters. It didn't get any higher only because I don't know what's going on with the villains. So characters, it could improve in the next issue, making me more pumped up for the villains and Sam and Twitch trying to solve this thing. So I'll give it a 1. Enjoyment factor, I'm going to give it a 1.5. I really like this comic a lot. I thought there was a lot of good stuff in it. I was surprised because I was a bit disappointed that it was going to be more of a mystery and not more action. But even with that, the pacing and story held up really good. So where are we at here? It's so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8. So I gave 2, 1.5. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So 8 out of 10. Pretty good. That's really good. That's really good. So I'm looking forward. King Spawn is, I don't want to say it's the weakest out of the 4 because that's making it sound like it's bad. They're all awesome. I really like Gunslinger a lot because the character is wicked and he's just cool. The original Spawn title is awesome, obviously. And Scorch is just so cool because it's She-Spawn and Medieval Spawn and Redeemer and all those guys like together. It's just so neat. So King Spawn unfortunately falls to the 4th position, but it doesn't mean it's that bad. 8 out of 10 is really good. I'm collecting this. I would think that you would want to collect this. If you're watching this video, I'm assuming you like Spawn. So let me know what your thoughts are on this Spawn issue. Give me your rating if you want to do a rating. If not, that's cool. If you're catching this video on the day it released, then tonight I'm going to be doing a live stream called Days of High Adventure, featuring, this week we're featuring Fire and Ice, Frank Frazetta and Ralph Bakshi. This is a masterpiece movie, one of my favorite animated films of all time. Easy, probably one of my favorite films of all time. I've got the soundtrack. I bought it on VHS, then I bought it on DVD, then I bought the then I bought the Blu-ray, then I bought the special Blu-ray, and then I bought the Painting with Fire, the Frank Frazetta documentary DVD, which is a solo DVD. You got some of it in one. And so I keep buying this movie. I love it so much. So that's tonight. Tomorrow night, if you're catching this again, tomorrow night we're doing a little bit something different on our Versus segment. Every Friday we do a Versus. And this Friday we're doing Hereditary versus Midsommar, which are the 2 films by Ari Aster. So it's a little bit different. Normally we do like action-based stuff or comic book things like Superman or Swamp Thing or something. But we're doing a horror because I love horror movies, and you know I don't show enough of it. I don't show enough love to horror on my channel. So that's what we're doing this Friday. This Saturday, we've got Chris the Comic Vet. We got Professor Bill from Comic Book University. We got 1407 Greymalkin. We got Sean and Steve. All of us together are going to be doing a DC film tier ranking. So this is going to include pretty much or most of the DC live action films. Okay, so that's going to be a hell of a lot of fun on Saturday. All my streams start at 7 or 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you check them out. That's it, guys. Let me know what you thought about King Spawn. Until next time.